Once upon a time, in a village, where the fog lived in the streets like a permanent resident, there lived a boy named Ren. Ren was not like the other children. While they played with wooden swords and chased the village dogs, Ren sat by the river, his brow furrowed, his small hands clenched into fists. Ren felt as though he were carrying a mountain inside his chest. He was anxious about the harvest. He was worried about his mother's cough, and he was terrified that he would never become someone important. At 10 years old, his soul felt 100 years old. One day, a Zen monk named Haku passed through the village. Haku didn't speak. He wore robes, the color of dead leaves, and carried a single wooden bowl. He walked with a grace that made it seem as if the earth were rising up to meet his feet. Ren followed him. He followed him out of the village, past the rice paddies, and up toward the mountain of glass, a peak so steep and jagged that even the goats avoided it. "Monk," Ren cried out, his voice cracking. "How do you walk so lightly? My legs are heavy. My heart is heavy. Every step I take feels like I am pulling an anchor through the mud." Haku stopped. He didn't turn around. He reached into the dirt, picked up a heavy, jagged stone, and handed it to the boy. "Carry this," Haku said. It was the first time he had spoken. His voice sounded like wind moving through a canyon. "Carry it, and do not put it down until we reach the cloud gate." For 3 hours, they climbed. Ren held the stone against his chest. At first, it was easy, but as the sun climbed higher, the stone seemed to grow. It grew hotter. The sharp edges dug into Ren's palms. His breath became a ragged whistle. "Monk," Ren gasped, "this stone is getting heavier. Did you put a spell on it?" Haku stopped and looked at the boy. "The stone has not changed, little one. It is the same weight it was at the bottom of the hill, but you are holding it with yesterday's hands. You are remembering how light it was, and you are worrying about how heavy it will be tonight. You are not carrying a stone. You are carrying time." Ren didn't understand. He only knew his arms were shaking. "Look at the hawk above us," Haku said, pointing to a speck in the blue. "Does the hawk carry the memory of the wind from a mile ago? Does he worry about the branch he will land on in an hour? No. He is only the wing and the wind right now. If he carried his history, he would fall like a rock." Ren looked at the stone. He tried to stop thinking about the miles behind him. He tried to stop imagining the pain of the miles ahead. He focused only on the pressure of the stone against his skin in this second. Suddenly, the stone didn't feel lighter, but the boy felt stronger. They reached a waterfall that fell from a height so great it turned into silver mist. Before it hit the pool below, Haku sat by the edge and began to wash his wooden bowl. "I want to be like you," Ren whispered, sitting beside him. "I want to be calm. I want to be motivated to do great things. But I am always tired. I am always fighting myself." Haku dipped his bowl into the churning white water. He pulled it out, but the water was full of silt and sand. It was cloudy. "Look at the water in the bowl," Haku said. "Can you see the moon reflected in it?" "No," Ren said. "It's too dirty. It's moving too much." Haku set the bowl on a flat rock. They sat in silence. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Village sounds drifted up from below, the faint barking of dogs, the ring of a blacksmith's hammer. Slowly, the sand in the bowl began to settle. The silt sank to the bottom. The water became as clear as the air itself. And there, in the tiny circle of the bowl, was a perfect, shimmering reflection of the mountain peak and the pale afternoon moon. "Your mind is the bowl," Haku whispered. "Motivation is not stirring the water to make it go faster. Motivation is the stillness that allows you to see the path clearly. When the water is calm, the way is obvious. You don't need to try to see, you just see." As they neared the cloud gate, a sudden storm rolled over the mountain. The sky turned the color of a bruise. Thunder shook the very bones of the earth. Ren screamed as a bolt of lightning split a pine tree just yards away. Ren huddled in a ball, covering his ears. But Haku stayed standing. He didn't hide. He didn't run. He stood in the pouring rain, his eyes open, his robes soaking wet, looking directly into the heart of the storm. "Are you not afraid?" Ren yelled over the wind. "The mountain is falling apart." Haku reached down and pulled Ren to his feet. "The storm is not happening to you, Ren. The storm is just happening. You are trying to fight the rain. You are angry at the wind. That is why you are suffering." Haku took Ren's hand. "Be the lightning. Be the rain. Be the thunder. If you are part of the storm cannot hurt you. You only feel fear because you think you are separate from the world. You think you are a small boy in a big forest. But you are the forest. Ren closed his eyes. He stopped shivering. He let the rain soak his skin. He stopped, wishing the sun would come back. In that moment of total acceptance, the fear vanished. He felt a surge of energy, a wild, fierce motivation that didn't come from a book, but from the lightning itself. They reached the summit. The cloud gate was nothing more than 2 stone pillars, overlooking a sea of white mist. The world below was gone. There was only the sky and the 2 of them. Put the stone down, Haku said. Ren dropped the jagged rock. His hands were bloody, and his muscles ached. But as the stone hit the ground, something strange happened. Ren felt as though he were floating. Because he had carried the weight for so long, his body had grown strong enough to carry anything. You came here looking for a secret, Haku said, looking out over the clouds. You thought motivation was a spark I would give you, but look at your hands. Ren looked at his calloused, dirty palms. The strength was never in the stone, Haku said. It was in the carrying. You don't need me. You don't need a master. You only need to realize that the mountain you were climbing was yourself. And you have already reached the top. Ren looked at the monk, but Haku was already walking away, back down into the mist, his wooden bowl clicking against his belt. Ren stood alone at the top of the world. He wasn't an important person yet. He was just a boy. But he was a boy who knew how to be still, how to bend, and how to carry the weight without letting it break him.